Hello everyone! So today I'm going to be doing a video requested by Allison Barker. She wanted to know how to draw an anime character. So I'm going to be doing that. We're going to be drawing a girl today. So you're going to need a pencil and a really good eraser. So I'm just using a Prismacolor Scholar pencil. So it's a 2H pencil lead. So it's a bit on the harder side, but not to the point that it's really hard. So I'm just going to use this for this video. So I'm going to just open up my sketchbook and go to a certain page. Now this is the way I draw it, so you don't have to draw it exactly like I do. But this is the way I am going to do it. So first of all, I'm going to do a line like this. I'm going to leave a tiny bit of space for the feet, like around this much maybe. Like if you can see that, like just a little bit here. So I'm going to start with the head like this. I'm just making this stick in order to like keep my character in position. So I'm going to do a head like that, like a circle like that. And I'm going to put a line down. And this is where the end of the face is going to be. So this little ball right there is going to be where the chin is going to be. So I'm going to take it from that little point there. And you see that line? Then I'm going to bring it up to the circle. Now you're just going to repeat that on both sides. This is the way I do heads because you can do them from the top and then to the bottom, but I find my heads turn out better when I do them from the bottom up. So just do what works best for you. Okay, so now I'm gonna do the neck. I make the neck around this big, and I make it kind of slanting outwards a bit. So I'm going to start with the female body. So I'm going to do a line like this. And you see, I'm going to bring it down. This is the jaw. I normally make my bodies around the jawline. So I try to make them line up with the jaw, just so it looks nicer. So I'm going to go and do an hourglass. This is just an hourglass body. Like for a woman, like I know how to do more of a curvy body type, but I am going to be doing this one for this video. So so now that you kind of got your hourglass, let me do that again. Do it until you've got a good hourglass with you, like, yeah, more like that. Okay, I'm just going to be doing like a straight down figure. And I'm going to bring it in so that it kind of forms your crotch. I don't really know how to say it. It's just, it kind of looks like underpants really, but like, I'm just going to, yeah, I'm going to do it like this. So now that I've got this in, I'm going to start with the legs. So, in this style, you more build up the legs. Like you build up the arms and the legs and everything into little bits so that you can kind of trace over it. So I'm really going to go and do a circle where I want the leg to sort of start. And I'm going to do a line to where I want the legs to end. So now I'm going to do a smaller circle for where the knees are going to go and a tinier circle for where I want like the end of the leg to go. So I'm going to use this guideline and I'm going to trace in and outwards. Where the ball is I'm going to go kind of bumping outwards, and where it isn't, I'm going to go in. Okay, so let's just do that on both sides. Okay. And now we're going to do the exact same thing, but with the arms. Now, I like to make the arms a little longer, like around where this underpants part kind of ends. So that, because it looks more realistic anyway, because if you look at your body, it's going to be longer than, like, it's not up to your waist. It's going to be longer. I would normally do them down to here. I don't want them to become really long. So I'll just leave them there. It's your choice on how long you want them to be. So I'm going to start and do the same thing. But I'll just put like balls. Normally now I'm just not doing those other balls. I probably should be. So I'm just going to do that. And make sure to include the armpit, because everyone has something called an armpit, and we can't exactly forget that, or your character won't turn out as nice. So just make sure you remember that, okay? So now this is one thing. You can't make the shoulders Lego pieces. You gotta make them more slanted. So I'm just gonna take it and slant it down like that. Okay, so basically you've got your body here. You got your arms, your legs. Okay, here's the tricky part. Hands. Done, done, done. Hands are very hard to draw because they can be in like really, really weird, funky poses. Yeah. So I'm gonna show you how I learned how to draw hands. So basically, you're gonna break them up into shapes. So, there's gonna be the palm, and then the French fries. Okay, so the palm, it's not flat on the top here, it's like curved. And make sure to get all those tiny little bumps in the fingers. I am gonna tell you right now, if you include those, it's gonna make the drawing, like the hands, look much better. I learned that and it helped so much. So these will be the French fries, really. And try to include the ridges, like I just said, like those tiny bumps. So this would be the palm. You can kind of make the palm any way you want. I would normally just make it like a square, but for like if the hand is relaxed more, I would do a different shape. It's very similar though. So really what I'd do is I'd make more of a glove to indicate where the thumb pocket is. More like that. But for like a regular hand, I would just do like an actual palm, like a square. So I'm just gonna do the fingers now. This comes with a lot of practice, so it might be tricky for you at first to get the hands. Okay. Normally my fingers end up being like different lengths, so I'm just trying to balance it out more. Yeah, okay. Okay, so hair. Hair is very, very interesting. So hair doesn't just lie flat on your head. It has volume. I remember teaching you this in Blockstar, if you can remember, like how we build hair. Allison, I'll just call you that to protect your privacy and your real name. So I will just there's going to be a center point. This is where all the hair comes out, the bangs, whatever you name it. So just make sure it's not too big, but not too close to the head. And basically all the hair is going to come out of there. I'll do long hair because it's more like, it's just nice and satisfying to do. I like to draw long and flowy hair most of the time. That's kind of my favorite thing to do. So just make the hair however you want. I'm just gonna do this nice flowy hair. This is normally the length I would do it. If I wanted to, I would make it longer. I'm not gonna do that though. So basically bangs kind of swoop in and they kind of come from the center point. You can really make them however you want. And this is the good thing about this style. It makes the weirdest bang cuts look really cool. Like even the hair even just makes it look awesome. So do what you want. This is kind of the part where you get to be free. Now I'm gonna show you 2 examples of feet now. So feet, like you can do them with shoes or not shoes. It can be different. You draw it differently depending on how you draw it, like on what you choose. So basically, if I was gonna do street shoe, I would more do a line like that and do a bump, with like the laces and everything coming out. I like to do like long, bumpy laces, more like that. So that would be your street shoe. And if you wanted a regular foot, now there's different ways you can draw it, but I'm going to show you the front view. So how I would normally draw the front view, I'd take it and I kind of make a ball here, and I'd kind of curve around it, and I'm going to make little toes here, so like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Mostly like that. So if you look at your foot, it would have like more like 2, like it would have 2 bumps on the side. I'll just draw them here. One is going to be higher than the other. I'm sorry I can't lift my foot up here to show you, but yeah. So that would just be barefoot, really. I'll just do that in like maybe a pen so you can see that better. Okay. I'll just do it in some pen. So that would be barefoot and street shoe. Okay? So, I'm just going to go ahead and draw the foot here. So I'm just going to do the barefoot. So it also benefits from me so I can practice doing the barefoot. You should probably look up like feet tutorials and all that. They might be able to explain it better than I can. I learned this from a tutorial on YouTube as well, so like on how to draw feet. So just like do it the way you want to do it. Make sure to add those ridges. Okay, so once you're done with your feet and whatnot, we can move on to clothes now. So, I'm not very good at clothing folds, but really, you're gonna have to look at people. Like when I mean, like you're gonna have to look at a lot of people to see different wrinkles, because it's not really, like, you gotta really look at people and see how do these folds form, and know that like, that your clothing will never fold in the same way. I used to make that mistake too. So I'm just gonna move this a little closer so you can maybe see it better. So I'm just gonna add in a little tiny cheeky thing there, and I'm gonna talk about a little bit more clothing. So like thick clothing won't have as many wrinkles because it won't be able to bunch up as much, but thin, it'll have more opportunities. And like tight versus like loose. So loose will have more like vertical ones because it is flowy and gravity is like pulling down or something. And stiff will be more angular, like wrinkles and yeah. So, I'm going to go ahead and think of where the clothing wrinkles will form. So I normally like to draw very loose, kind of medium thick, like not thick, but not exactly thin either. So it all depends really on the fabric, on where you think it's flowing. It's very hard to explain. You kind of just gotta do it. It will get much easier over time. Because if you go on tutorials and all that, they might even find it hard to explain. So just keep on practicing. Like, trust me, I had so much trouble doing this. But I sat like hours at a desk just going on and on and on. And try to do action poses, like look up poses like real people and try to copy them. I once tried doing this and it was actually very fun. And it's also benefiting from you because you're learning how to do different poses. So, like, try your best to try to not just do like poses like we are now, just like stiff poses like this. Because just because you know how to draw front, I learned this very on in the game, doesn't mean you know how to draw every single pose, because you don't. Even with hands, that comes a lot to hands. So once you're done, you can really just erase all those guidelines, like those circles that I was doing, that we were like doing earlier. You might want to get a more angular eraser for this, or an eraser with a nice point. Like here, I just used that. You might have to redo a little bit of stuff, but nothing major. Okay. So now you'll see that the face is coming together, and that we're making progress with our drawing, and everything is just turning out the way that it should. This is all turning out really well, and good job. I know I can't see it, but I know it's probably turning out really well, so good job. Just keep on drawing, really. I've only been drawing since February, but like, you just need to practice. Like, it will take a while, but you'll just gradually get better if you like look at drawings from the past. Because I remember we used to draw together at school. I've improved a lot since then, but now, like, you should be very proud of yourself right now that you're drawing something. So I'm just doing, like, just coloring that in a bit. So we can go on with the eyes now. Now, I really like doing eyes. I don't like to do very complex eyes. It depends on kind of what I want to draw, really. So, like, yeah. I'm just gonna fix those bangs a bit. Yeah, that looks nice. I like that. Yeah, you can kind of go all out with the bangs, really. Yeah, so I'm just gonna go ahead and do some eyes. I'm gonna go get a lead pencil. Okay, so now I'm back with the lead pencil. I recommend getting a lead pencil for the eyes because it might be much easier for you to do the tiny details. This is what I normally use, like, for details. I don't really, Bic, B-I-C, I don't know. Yeah, so it's just a cheap lead pencil. So let's just go and get started with these eyes. So I'm gonna go ahead and just get the lid down to the size I want it. Okay. So now I'm going to start with the eyelash. So basically, you can make the eyes any way you want, but it basically goes from thin to thick. You start out very thin and then it gets thicker, and then to the end of the eye, it gets thin again. So you can really make the eyes any way you want. It might be a little tricky to do the second eye, so I have a few tricks that I used to use. So try to line them up and move your hand around like that. That's all I really have to say. I know you can use like transfer paper and blah, 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 but it just kind of takes practice, really. Over time, you might just want to over time, it might just become easier. I basically just stare at it and try to copy it the best I can. This might take a few tries, but don't get too frustrated. It's not your fault. I kind of struggle with this sometimes too. It's just sort of difficult sometimes. It seems like this person is kind of angry. So I'm just going to do expressions for stuff like that. So this is the anime character that we have drawn. Now, I'm not very good at shading, but basically I'm going to try my best to explain what I know about shading. So I'm going to get into that now. So there's basically the highlight where the light is coming from. There's the core shadow, then like the medium shadow that's kind of it's not the darkest part of the shadow, but not the lightest either. And basically and there's also like this other place where the light can't hit. That's kind of what I know, really, and I just kind of try to use that. So basically, you kind of have to work in layers. That's why I love doing black clothing, because you just make highlights. You kind of use your eraser and make highlights in the black so that it turns white. That's why black hair is so nice to do. Because it's one of the easiest. So I'm just going to go ahead and try to make a sun. I'm going to make a sun so that I know where the light is coming from. Really, it's just kind of coming from there. You can make like the shadows. You're going to start out with the tiny shadows, and you're going to try to make your best to make these shadows the best you can. So really, what I normally do if I'm getting really into the anime stuff is cross-hatching. I'll go to my study page. Study. So there was this one study page that I did. Basically, I was just kind of studying on anime stuff, really. Oh yeah, here it is. So I was trying to do shading here. And cross-hatching, if you want to make it darker, you just keep on kind of going over. So this is kind of my studies, really. Yeah, okay, now we're back. I'm just going to go ahead and fix that head bit. It kind of got messed up when I erased it. So you can just go ahead and do the shading. Okay, that's okay. Okay, I'm gonna try to fix that. So basically what happens is like once you do the shading, the drawing kind of just comes all together, because you got your wrinkles, you got your shading. So basically you're done. And try to do that shading on the wrinkles. Try to think hills and valleys, and put shading wherever you think the wrinkles are going in. So wherever you think they're going in, just add a little bit of color. Just add a little bit of color. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and finish this up. I'm really happy with how it's turning out. It's so cute. Okay. Now, I think that's all I really have to say about drawing characters. So that's my character. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please give this video a like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.